What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Nasty Podcast. It's your boy Nasty back at it. This episode is going to be about how to fight the government. And so basically, I'm going to give you guys some effective ways to actually fight the government and get things done, and also some solutions in the short term and also in the long term. So with that being said, let's jump right in. The goal is for us to have a black nation. So we need to have our own shit. We need to have our own government. We literally need to take over the United States. There's no need for us to be following our colonizers. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for us to be following a people that literally murdered and genocided a whole civilization just to get where they're at. You know what I'm saying? The natives should be in charge. The Native Americans should be in control of this land. That's who they took it from. And at the end of the day, the natives is all of us. Black, Hispanic, Latino, you know what I'm saying? All of us. We're all melanated beings that they're trying to divide and conquer. We need to get back together and fight back against the people that are oppressing us. You know what I'm saying? Racial inequality and oppression systematically is what's been going on since slavery and even before it. So the narrative is that we want to start another civil war, that we want to create another civil war, a second one of those. But in reality, we need to start another American Indian War. The American Indian Wars is where it was at, when people were fighting for land, and the original Civil War took place during that time period. The Gullah Wars, all that. That was one of the biggest, longest conflicts of all time, from like the 1600s all the way to the 1900s, right when they came, you know what I'm saying? Fighting over land and true freedom. That's when not only Native Americans, but a lot of freed slaves and blacks were fighting alongside them, trying to hold it down against the people coming to conquer. And now we're going to let them still be in charge. Like, these are the people that came and stole our history and enslaved us to get where they're at. So why the fuck are we still letting them be in charge? Why are we still listening to them? And yeah, not all white people are bad. So when we create a black nation, some of y'all can still be here. You know what I'm saying? The sincere ones could still remain. But we're talking about the racist ones, the evil ones. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta go. Motherfuckers love to be like, go back to Africa, go back to where you're from. White people are the first ones that gotta go. Europeans should not be here at all. You know what I'm saying? So we need to keep fighting for that. The protests and all that, like, I already told in a couple other episodes, like, I'm down with the protests and some of the riots and shit like that, but it just needs to be done the right way. It needs to be channeled and focused in the right way. Yes, we need to be causing trouble in white areas. We need to be stopping white commerce. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep them from being able to make money and being able to just live in their little lullaby that they've created. You know what I'm saying? Money talks. That's where we really have power, is through our wealth. And we can't just keep giving it away for bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We have to go shut down the highway, go, you know what I mean? Go really cause trouble and make noise in their shit. That's going to make a difference. That's going to get noticed. And beyond that, like, I'm glad it's still happening. The media is not covering it as much. You're not hearing about it as much anymore, but it's still happening. And I'm glad it is. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep fighting racial inequality and oppression. Like I said, like, all that stuff, and police brutality, like, all that stuff needs to cease. But beyond that, once it is over and the dust clears, you know what I'm saying? We need to start our own shit. We need to be in charge of our own government. Fight for our own power so that we can have control over our own destiny. Have a say in our own life. Why are we letting the white man have a say in our life? He has always been in opposition to us. You know what I'm saying? Why can't we have our own businesses? We need to. Our own banks, our own hospitals, our own schools. You know what I'm saying? That's basically Black Wall Street. And you saw what they did to that. They burned it down. They bombed it. They don't want us doing that because they are in opposition to us. You see how they are. That's why I always get mad when like Tommy Loren and the Reagan girl, I forget her last name, but she was at the Trump rally in Tulsa, actually, where Black Wall Street happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, like it all comes full circle. Like, but I get tight when bitches like that start talking shit, because they just mad, ignorant, and clearly racist. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean. Moving on. Some small solutions that I can give, because people always gonna be like, you talking shit, Nasty, but where's a solution? Give us a solution that you can offer. So I'm like, all right, here's a few that I came up with. I think before we move on to having our own police force and our own government and shit like that, we can just start small and be like, we want a council made up of the people that oversees the police and oversees the government, period. But you know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere. We oversee the police, and they have to answer to us if they do some shit foul. You know what I mean? Another is that we can vote for the police chiefs and the commissioners. You can turn that in a position that gets voted for, so that this becomes an elected official that represents us more. And both of these scenarios would create more accountability for the police. And in the bigger picture, the government, any elected official that so-called represents us. Because really they don't. They don't represent us at all. They represent themselves. We need to have our own representation, really. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's what we're fighting for. We don't have no representation, so let's get it ourselves. Let's represent ourselves and create our own nation. Let's separate, away from the United States and take it over and kick out all the fucking racist, white supremacists, old, you know what I'm saying, rich, capitalistic assholes that have no business being here anymore. Why are we still taking this shit? Why are we still just letting it happen? We just letting it happen. Now we fucking fighting to get these statues taken down. Like, word, like, good. But nigga, now it's time to be like, run through the White House, man. Run through the White House. This is us. All the black people and melanated people enlisted in the military join up with the white people that say they really fuck with you and take over a base. Because we don't have a military, and we're going to eventually have to go to war. So we got to get a military. We're going to have to take over a base or something. A couple. Riot there. So we could get some tanks and some soldiers and some real weapons on our side and really start the war and get it popping. And I'm not trying to incite unnecessary violence, but this is necessary. It's time we get back on top. Why we don't have our own government? Why are we listening to the same people that enslaved us? Why? White people should have no say in anything after everything they've done. They need to give it all up. All these businesses, all these skyscrapers, all these towers, it all needs to come down. All these government buildings, it all needs to come down. This is not your shit. Like, I want to go to the UN, and I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to go to the UN, right, on behalf of black people. And I'll just say, Hispanic people, but, we're all one and the same, natives, whatever. I want to go to the UN on behalf of black people and say, hey, listen, like, we want to start our own country. We want to get it popping the same way all y'all other empires have got it popping through colonialism and conquest. Like, I want to get it popping for my race that way. I'm going to go to the UN and say this. And I'm like, would it be okay if I enslaved a race of people? Like, can I just grab a race of people and enslave them for 400 years so that I can advance myself in society? I want to ask the UN that. Obviously, they're going to be like, no. They're going to say, no, you can't do that because that's wrong to do. They're going to look at me like I'm a fucking crazy man. I'm going to be like, all right, well, that's the only way America did it. That's the only way they got to today is through 400 years plus of what I just described. So how else am I expected to do it? How else is my race going to do it? Why do we have to play by the so-called rules now? Because we're part of your game. You know what I'm saying? It's like when someone creates a game for you to play, and every time you actually start to beat them, they change the rule a little bit so as to favor themselves. It's like, come on, I that's the only way I'm gonna get to the point you're at, is by enslaving people. Obviously, that's wrong. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. That's my disclaimer. But that's my point, is to say that the only way y'all did it is by doing that. So nigga, reparations are due in more ways than one. So I just wanted to give y'all some food for thought. Hopefully that jolts your mind. People are always coming at me because I'm a radicalist. I'm an extremist in my views. I don't care. They could come at me like in 10, 15, 20 years, like when the shit's said and done, or it's just beginning, who knows? People are gonna remember, like, yeah, Nasty was one of the freedom fighters. I'm a modern day Malcolm X in his early days. That's why I'm still in Boston. So come for me if you want. I'm ready. I know the truth, and I'm not scared. I have no fear, because I'm protected by the universe, the true God, not the fake evil that y'all have implemented to blind us and continually enslave us. Like, that's the shit I talk about religion, but that's another. You can go check that episode. That's the last episode I did. This is about how to fight the government. So in conclusion, you can fight the government effectively through protests and through rioting and through, social unrest and uproar, as long as it's channeled in the right way and aimed towards the people that you are fighting against. You have to make sure you are causing trouble for them, not causing trouble for your own people. And other than that, we need to work on ways in creating our own law enforcement, our own businesses, our own banks, our own schools, our own economy, our own government. And instead of having a government where like we fucking try to control the people the way they do, it's just we're all free. And we kind of go back to our roots where our ancestors had it. And if white people are not down with that, then they can fucking bounce. See ya. Go back to the Caucasus Mountains and have a great time. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this podcast. Hopefully you enjoy this content. Go check out more on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook and on my Instagram. You can find me anywhere, One Nasty World. The number 1 Nasty World. No spaces, all right? Be safe. Continue to fight the power. Stay woke. Peace out.